The Queen's arrival with Prince Andrew at Westminster Abbey last week was almost not caught on camera by the official photographer in attendance, due to an order issued by Buckingham Palace, it has been claimed. Richard Pohle was the only official photographer allowed to take pictures inside during the service of Thanksgiving for Prince Philip. He claimed two Buckingham Palace officers in attendance with him had told him he could only take pictures of the Queen after she had taken her seat inside the church. Mr. Pohle recalled the tense moments prior to Her Majesty's arrival to the service in an article he penned. He wrote in the Times, "Last week in Westminster Abbey I was with two smiling and pleasant press officers from Buckingham Palace, both of whom I had worked with before. They told me I would not be able to photograph the entrance of the Queen until, basically, they said I could." And the officers reportedly did not budge even when the photographer argued the BBC was broadcasting the full event, including the arrival of the sovereign, live for millions to see. He added, "I tried holding my desperation in check and argued my case as I tried to devise a diplomatic solution, but I was by myself and had no one in authority to back me up." The palace officials stood firm, no pictures until she was seated. However, Mr. Pohle said, photographing the Queen's entrance and walk towards her seat became particularly important after it became apparent she was being accompanied by her second son Prince Andrew. He said, "I absolutely need to photograph this," I said. The arrival of the Queen was now the major news event. I could see them wavering, but they repeated that the no-picture order came from the top and that it wasn't up to them. Mr. Pohle went on claiming he told them once again the BBC was going to carry the whole event live, unless they were ordering the public-funded broadcaster to cut Andrew's appearance with the Queen too. His final plea seemed to have an effect, he said, as one of the press officers made a phone call and later returned to give him the go-ahead, lifting the ban. Buckingham Palace did not comment on Mr. Pohle's claims. The Queen's attendance at the poignant 45-minute-long service was not officially confirmed by the palace in advance. The sovereign left Windsor on a Land Rover in the company of her son Prince Andrew, with the pair travelling together to Buckingham Palace to be transferred in the Queen's Bentley. From there, they arrived at a side entrance of Westminster Abbey near Poets' Corner to cut the distance the monarch would need to do to reach her seat inside the church. The Queen appeared to walk down the nave at times by holding her son's arm, but, after he reached his seat in the front row next to Prince Edward, the 95-year-old monarch walked on the opposite side alone with the help only of a light walking stick and took her place next to Prince Charles. During the service, the Queen stood to sing the two hymns and pay tribute to her late husband Philip, who died on April 9 last year. At the end of the emotional service, which celebrated the Duke of Edinburgh's work, life and legacy, the Queen and Andrew left once again together. This marked the first public event attended by Prince Andrew since he settled out of court the lawsuit launched against him by Virginia Giuffre. In this settlement, the Duke, who has firmly denied any wrongdoing since Ms. Giuffre first made allegations against him, did not make any admission of guilt. Prior to this service, the last public event attended by the Duke of York had been the funeral of his father last year. The service was also attended by most members of the royal family, including some of the Queen's great-grandchildren, leading politicians and foreign royals.